And the boys are in. Raymond Aqua Malik Abbas Dabo. How be Charlie?
Yeah, I'm doing very great.
Wonderful.
Yeah, Malik, we missed you yesterday.
Yeah.
You're better now?
Yeah, I am.
Super. Let's do the front page.
Now, the Daily Guide is reporting this morning, Jospon Group secures £20 million for projects. Call throws out Auditor General, NDC train thugs at Esuchari, and NPP beats NDC in 135 million Obichebi flyover, and as a precedent cutting the soil for the construction of the Obichebi interchange. And there is this thing about cutting soils, right?
Yes, you know.
What is the thing about
Dr.
cutting
Brachi says in Wales he doesn't see swords being cut. He doesn't know whether there are no swords there.
Hi, Victor.
The Graphic Business front page stories. IMF cautions ECOWAS on single currency, wants euro to guide EOCO's adoption. This single currency, when is it coming?
We've been announcing it
2020.
anyway. We also announced the second coming of Christ. It hasn't come yet, so we are patient. We are patient. I'm saying we are patient. That's all I'm saying.
If we can all meet the criteria, right?
Yeah.
And we never, all of us never
It's
meet.
also like the second coming. If we cannot be holy.
Other stories on the front page of the Graphic Business. NIC wants to regulate health insurance industry, and Ghanaian exporters feel brunt of Nigeria-Benin border closure. The last story on the front page of Graphic Business. How technology is changing the face of food production. The case of fufu making machine. Raymond.
Finally.
It is not fufu if there's any other element of machinery.
If there is no mortar and pestle.
If the hand is not the one driving the action on the ground.
You know what my friend
If
said?
there's no sweat dropping in it.
You know what my
That's
friend
not
said?
an element of
My friend said that fufu has a secret ingredient called love.
Yeah.
So when they do the awoka, you know, they're pounding and they're driving at the same time. Charlie, it just kills it.
Now, the Ghanaian Times is reporting this morning fire raises down 70 shops in Kumasi, and there is this one about Accra Psychiatric Hospital requesting folder of alleged killer of JB Dankwa Edu, who has always insisted he's not in the right frame of mind. And those are the stories on the front page of the Ghanaian Times.
And you just mentioned JB Dankwa Edu. There's Dankwa Institute appointing Richard Hiagba as new head. That's on the front page of the New Crusading Guide. NDC fights government over PDS deal. President Kassod, we just did this. Those are the stories on the front page of the New Crusading Guide.
Now, the Chronicle is reporting this morning Freema Opare charges NPP women to back her down, and Western powers wanted to bury me alive. This is former President Jerry John Rawlings speaking there, and he made this comment over the weekend.
The Daily Statesman, MPP to elect 2020 presidential candidates on April. Presidential candidate and presidential and parliamentary candidates, right? On April 25th, 2020, will they elect a presidential candidate or they just affirm one? We need focused leadership. That's Akufo-Addo calling for political will to transform West Africa.
Now, the Finder is reporting the stock. It's also reporting Apai's flood victims grateful for government support. The last one is about YEA to recruit 7,730 youth under schools support program.
That YEA story is also on the back page of the Daily Graphic. One other story on the back page of the Daily Graphic is Kumasi Central Market catches fire again. Front page of the Daily Graphic, the Obichebi Lamte Circle is there with artist impressions, PDS split public opinion, graphic IDEC to whip up voter enthusiasm towards referendum. Those are the stories.
Great. Let's begin with the biggest story since Friday, isn't it?
Yes.
And the NDC is kicking against the restrictive tendering that the PDS replacement will be picked with.
The party believes that the problem that we've had with the current PDS situation could have been avoided if we had taken our time to go through open proper bidding, went through the proper processes, and taken our time to do proper due diligence. So all of this ought to be done. You know, government indicated in that particular letter to the MCC that we are racing against time to make sure that by December 30 or 31 we'll be in the position to get a replacement for the current PDS people who are running the ECG's private sector participation program. That particular direction is what the NDC is saying. Don't use restrictive tendering. Just make sure that the right grouping comes in with the right process to deal with this. And they are saying more than just that. In fact, they are saying that this came about because of some few reasons. First and foremost, they believe that the decision by the Vice President Dr. Bawumia, the Finance Minister, and MEDA to change the precondition of a bank guarantee into an insurance guarantee at a meeting at the Jubilee House on the 19th of February 2019, as captured in the FTI report, is where we are here. We are where we are today. The second argument they also make is that government's failure to conduct the necessary due diligence on the supposed insurance guarantee which was provided by PDS before handing over our 22 billion ECG assets to them is also why we are where we are today. Okay. And the third one they are giving is that, and say this is the worst of all. He says, on the blind side of Parliament, the Akufo-Addo government illegally allowed the original partners of the Miracle-led consortium to form and transfer their respective shares to SPVs with the intent of isolating themselves from any potential risk and liability. Says these are the three main reasons why we are in the current problem that we are having today. And to fix it, restricted tender is not the way forward. In fact, they also say that government is increasingly incurring the wrath of the US government by, I didn't see that in government's letter, but they say by saying US government has been deceiving us on the deal somewhere, because you know the September 24th agreement or discussion the president had with the MCC. They say that government of Ghana is saying that we went back on that particular agreement. No, the US rather went back on that agreement and decided to stab us in the back. They are asking government to tread cautiously, or else we find ourselves in the bigger problem that we have currently. So this is basically what the NDC said at its press conference. And yesterday we brought you that letter from the
finance
MCC.
Minister.
No, the finance minister. We did it in the morning.
In the morning, yes.
In the evening was the MCC. Brought you that letter from the MCC, the Millennium Challenge Corporation, on the same day that we responded, the October 18 date, which insisted that by October 30th, we as a state, the Republic of Ghana, ought to reinstate PDS from the suspension status to continue their work as was agreed at an earlier meeting. And that is what we responded to by saying that, oh, the decision is to terminate, not reinstatement of a sort anyway.
Exactly.
But
and so
currently, we've not heard anything from the MCC in response to our letter.
No,
we've not heard anything, and that's perhaps the most important now.
Exactly,
because we are gauging and see what we can do next based on the kind of reaction that comes from the people who are providing the 580 million, almost 500 million US dollars for the entire project.
We'll be dealing with that letter. I mean, both letters today on the show today, and we'll be looking at it from an international relations perspective. What are the consequences and implications, if any, should governments go contrary to the demands that MCC is making? Well, government has recommended a contrary position, but what if the MCC disagrees? What are our options after that? And this Compact 3 that we are talking about, that government
can we lose the money and insist that we want to do our own thing if we are prepared to do that?
We know it's a possibility. Government has said it's a possibility. So how do we avoid losing
Gabi Asayochi that post is anything to go by? It looks like we may be saying, well, I mean, calling the bluff of the MCC and its friends in the United States of America and taking our destiny into our own hands, as some people have been saying locally, because Koseka has been saying this for a very long time.
Yes, but another question has been raised about some of the issues Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta stated in that letter, and today we'll have an insurance marketer who will be telling us that, well, he has some disagreements with some of the things that Ken Ofori-Atta stated. So you want to stay tuned to the Super Morning Show for that. Before I do anything else, let me say a happy birthday to Akomapa Tumi Shura Ado. You brought so much joy to the family, and our prayer for you is for blessings, growth, purpose, and grace to do awesome things from your mother Sewa Koto, your brother Nkunim Sirunko, and your dad Nana Ado. Not the president, Nana Ado. All right, Kumasi Central Market has caught fire
again, and this is the second time in about how many months? The other one was on Good Friday. That was in April 19th to be specific. And before then, we had other fire incidents in March in Asafo Market and other markets in Kumasi. It would seem that anytime you hear a market in Kumasi, it's fire. And in this time, this fire, about 100 million worth of goods have been burnt.
100 million?
Yes, 100 million. 74 shops have all been burnt.
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
You, speaking of insurance, I hope they were insured.
In one swell swoop of fire. And note, the graphic reports that the day after the fire, people went back to go and rebuild their shops. In fact, the fire started at 1 a.m. By 5:55, the National Fire Service were able to put the fire off. And that same morning, shop owners went back and started erecting their shops again.
You know what? Maybe it's good that they are going to a new market, so that the wiring and all of these things can be sorted, because it's happening one too many times.
Absolutely.
We know that the population for which that initial market was built has far outgrown, has been far exceeded, and so we need to look at ways of engineering the market so that it's expandable as well.
Do you remember that we brought some American fire experts to Ghana to come and investigate fires?
Yeah.
And
What happened to
the
that?
report we never saw. They went to Kumasi to go and investigate the fires there, because at the time there were suspicions by
Arson.
Absolutely, there were suspicions that arsonists were responsible for the fires, that it was intended to make the government unpopular, for which reason we brought the Americans. I remember reading a story in late 2016 where we were told that the Americans had left and that they were continuing the investigations in the US, and this was the Ghana National Fire Service telling us.
So they can analyze the data in the US.
They had taken samples and things to the US, and they were
can analyze the data there. Why are you?
and they were analyzing it. And
Of course, they are still analyzing it today. We know that clearly.
Now we don't have that report, so we don't know what their findings
And
were.
we've not learned anything from that, obviously.
Absolutely not. And I'm saying even after that, we've had these repeated occurrences of fire incidents, and some of the people who went rebuilding their shops explained that the reason why they can't wait for the state and the government and the authorities there is that in times past, when these investigations have been conducted, nothing has come out of it.
Yeah.
So, and they have loans to repay, they have families to take care of. So they will just go back, rebuild their shops, and continue their
I
businesses.
love their resilience, really. Their lives depend on this. But unfortunately, guys, another thing that keeps happening in Kumasi, those dead bodies turning up at Santasi Apre. And we are talking about a specific locality. So in the past 8 months, 5 dead bodies have been found. 2 of which are women, which were found in similar positions. This most recent one was a 60-year-old man. I think this is something that we cannot ignore, and that's why today we are discussing it on the show. We'll be touching base in Kumasi to see what police are doing about it and how the citizens of the area are feeling, how the family members are feeling. So if you're listening to us from Kumasi, we are in Santasi this morning. Stay tuned for that. But still in Kumasi, there's a KTI shutdown, right?
Yes, the Kumasi Technical Institute has been shut down following student agitation. So this happened over the weekend. The students have been ordered to leave the premises of the school with immediate effect. Now, a student said the chaos broke out because a teacher and 3 students were confronted. The students confronted a teacher who had asked another student not to wear unprescribed school uniforms, and actually had dealt with the student in ways that they didn't think was right. And that during evening study period, you are not supposed to wear the uniform that's not designated for that particular time. Now, the students went about destroying properties of the school because of how this turned out finally. We are told that a teacher has been hurt in the process. The Menchia Police Commander, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Emmanuel Boa, said the shadow of the school is to maintain the peace required so that the students will not continue destroying properties of the school. Talking about shadows and agitations of this sort, I mean, I find it reprehensible that this can degenerate into something like that. And we always have a difficulty with managing small spots of disagreement, which blows up into becoming a big mini conflict. We cannot always have a very nice dialogue on that. It reminds me, I've been seeing the Twitter trends and the fact that KNUST demo at 1 is trending. And I've seen people recalling what happened over the period. We know that that particular demonstration over the convention.
Very disappointing. Over 1 million Ghana cedis in property was destroyed. And sometimes you want the student, students' riots are as old as when Kofi Annan was in infant.
I agree, but you see,
he led the students'
I went on demonstration because we couldn't find a place to sleep.
Exactly.
I get worried when people go on demonstration because they're saying the whole of residence is going to convert it into a mixed hall. I can understand how that's a feasible reason. Yes,
I mean, people find it's justifiable, but for whatever reason, why destroy property? No one needs to destroy any property. Anyway, Malik, let's go to where we are building property back in Accra.
Absolutely, we are building a new interchange. It used to be a circle; it's now going to be an interchange.
Super.
The Obechebelamte interchange, which the president cut the sword. I am reading that it was a second sword cutting at the same place for the same project. Former President Mama cut the sword for that same interchange to be built. Now, yesterday, President Nana Akufo-Addo also cut the sword again for the project to be built. And this project will consist of 3-tier interchange with ground level having a remodeled roundabout. The second tier will be an east to west flyover linking the Graphic Road to the Kaneshi Malam Road. Did you know that road is Dr. K. Buzia Highway. I'm just reading it for the first time. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Me too.
I didn't know either.
So Graphic Road to the Malam route, that flyover, that's a K. Buzia one. That's the second tier. Now the president was addressing enthusiastic chiefs and shop owners and all of these people at the place that he said funding has been secured. 135 million has been secured for this project. And the funding has been made available. They will do the first. It will be done in 2 phases. First phase will be done, and then the second phase will be done. There's another one which will link from Ahimfie, that's Royal Chapel, going towards the Chief Imam's Mosque at the Abosu-Kan area there. So they will build that one first before the Graphic one will be built. So another interchange coming from that area. Again, whether or not when these people move from Graphic Road and all the other people move from Ring Road, all of them will land on the Malam Road going towards Odoko. You will still have the traffic there.
I'm quiet because I haven't seen the data that informed the building of the interchange, and so I don't want to commit myself on this
because
one.
There's a huge gridlock from Kaneshi going to Odoko.
So what's the volume of traffic that goes, the people who branch?
That is the road that goes to Kasua.
Exactly.
And
we need to look at that. Ray, former President Rawlings is not feeling safe.
Yeah, I mean, now I'm sure he's very safe. He's saying that when he handed over to the Liman government in 1979, and after the election was finally done, after the June 4th period, what happened was that one of the reasons why he had to come back, because there were some foreign powers who had put together some intelligent machinery who decided to persuade him to leave the country, because there were others who were seeking to not only bury him alive but also chase him every single day. So he needed to safeguard himself, because he refused to avail himself to be used by the Western powers. That's why he did not. That's why they were chasing him, and they wanted to actually deal with him in ways that were not kind. He was recalling this event when he was honored by the Mine Workers Union over the weekend, and the Mine Workers Union said, of all the leaders we've had in the country, he contributed very, very immensely and tremendously to the protection of the mines and the development of that particular sector in the country.
Do you understand what he's saying?
Yeah, he's saying that he left. He needed to make sure that he was safe, because he didn't do the bidding of the Western powers and destroy this country. That is why they wanted to bury him alive. They were chasing him all over the place. They had put together so many schemes, including fabrications, to make sure that he was dealt with ways that were not proper.
Okay, we are glad he's alive now.
Yes.
We are glad he's well now. Okay.
I'm hoping that some of these stories he can tell me, because I'll be looking for him anyway.
Former President
the interview has been postponed ad nauseum.
Former President Rawlings, we are waiting. Okay, so we are going to do the online news review now. Guys, have you seen that letter that Esdo Sekufo wrote to Kezla Tufosa?
Oh, yes. The one she will not take advice from the Simon's friend.
So if you haven't read the letter, you haven't seen it online, just go on myjonline.com. The headline is, I won't go to a brothel for moral lessons, Esdo Usu to Atufosen. So Kezla Atufosen wrote a letter, right, to Esdo Sekufo, talking about the directives that she issued to the telcos. This thing that became a topic for discussion.
Tell us that they are charging us CST. Yes.
Exactly, about the communication service tax. Now, in her response, I'll just read a little. Your remedy does not lie in issuing orders and instructions to me on how to do my work. As the adage goes, if I want lessons in good morals, I certainly will not go to a brothel for it. I respectfully decline your invitation, as you are not the proper authority to declare what is or not legal in this country. I love the way she ends. Have a good day, sir. Yours sincerely, Mrs. Esla Osu Ekofo, MP, Minister. In fact, this lady, it's very, very strongly worded letter she wrote.
You are saying that she wrote it herself.
Oh, she's a tough one.
That this is a tone that ordinarily she will possess.
She's a tough one, I'm telling you. StarFM.com has MPP to hold presidential primaries April 20. MPP's presidential. I wonder who will go against President Akufo-Addo, if there will be anyone. But that's one to look out for. City Newsroom. We didn't spend enough time on PDS deal in Parliament. Edward Bauer, MP for Bongo. You know, Edward Bauer used to be communications
consultant at the Energy Ministry.
Thank you. Is that Nana Damoe's job right now, right?
Yes.
No, he's director
consultant. He's
public affairs. This guy was like an external providing services, but this one's within.
Even though he was based there.
So he's experienced in there.
I think he was too big to be called PRO, so they didn't want to call him PRO.
I beg you. The online news review is brought to you by Zenith Bank in your best interest and Goil Good Energy. Goil, your trusted indigenous and number one oil marketing company, says Ayiko to our numerous customers. Your loyalty to the Goil brand has been rewarded again. We are now CIMG Hall of Fame Petroleum Company of the Year after 3 consecutive years of success. We dedicate this award to you, our esteemed customers who are loyal to the Goil brand we cherish. Always visit any of our 380 plus service stations for quality fuel, lubricants, and unmatched customer service. Buy Goil, Goil Ghana, Goil Good Energy, Goil Yenara Yedia. Now travel light, shop light, pay light, and live light with Zenith Bank's array of electronic banking products. Whether you are a corporate entity or an individual, Zenith Bank has an electronic products to cater for you and your financial needs. Sign up today for Zenith Bank's electronic banking solutions and enjoy the convenience of banking on the go. Go light with Zenith Bank. It's faster and smarter. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. We'll be right back, but coming up a bit later on the show.
Should something happen to me, God forbid, today, I don't have any support anywhere. I don't have anything to fall on, my brother.
We hear the sad story of Michael Lamptey, who is even facing health complications after his funds were locked up with Gold Coast Securities. Gold Coast will also be on the show today. Stay with us.